Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another segment of Asaph Cafe. I am your host, Asaph Adonai, and we're sitting in our dawn set. You know, like it's sleepy time. I got a perfect song to start this off. And so, ladies and gentlemen, on my immediate left, our special guest is Miss Meesha Porter, and she is connected with Special Olympics Montana. She is a global messenger, and we'll be talking to Meesha about Special Olympics and other things. And Meesha's one of my neighbors. She lives pretty close to me, like across the street. And of course, also on my far left, we have our affectionately our aging rocker Emmett. Of course, you've met Emmett.
Yes, I sure have.
So let's have you start us off, Emmett, and then we'll start this program.
Yeah, thank you, O Lord, and bless this show, O Lord. Amen.
Thank you. And I'm going to, since we're in our dawn set, I'm going to play an old song. And Meesha, you tell me if you've ever heard this song, okay? You ever heard this song?
I don't know if I have or not.
It is called Sleepy Time Down South.
It's beautiful.
That's the name of the song. I'll do it again. Don't recognize it?
Very pretty.
Thank you, young lady. It's a fun song. There were a lot of performers from the past that used to sing that song, like Nell Carter. I don't know if you would remember her.
I don't know.
She used to appear on a show called Give Me a Break.
Oh, yeah, I've seen that.
1980s. You remember the African-American actress?
Uh-huh.
That was Nell Carter. She was a professional singer, and she used to sing this song Sleepy Time Down South, a lot. Have you ever seen that show, Give Me a Break?
No, never heard of it. Huh,
Yeah, it
interesting.
was, well, this is like probably the 80s, I think.
Uh-huh.
It was popular in its time.
Oh, yeah.
So Nell Carter was not only the lead actress on this show, but she would also sing Sleepy Time Down South. Louis Armstrong sung that a lot, too. I don't know if you know him. He's famous.
I might
Famous trumpeter, 1930s, 1940s. They
No.
called him Satchmo. Louis Armstrong. Hello, Dolly.
Oh, yeah, I heard that song.
Yes, okay. Well, that was one of Louis Armstrong's biggest hits. And of course, you're familiar with Louis Armstrong, aren't you?
Vaguely, I've heard of the name, but never watched any of his
I know
stuff.
that this goes before your time. You know, you gotta
Yeah,
remember
yeah.
this was like 1930, 1940.
Yeah, I wasn't born
Neither
until
was I.
later.
And, you know, Louis Armstrong was in his prime at that time, in the 1930s.
Wasn't he a weightlifter or something?
No, he was a famous trumpet player.
Oh, okay.
had
Oh, yeah,
a
Louis
gravelly-
Armstrong.
Louis Armstrong, yeah, had a gravelly voice.
Yes,
Hello,
yes.
Dolly. Say hello, Dolly.
Yeah.
Now, hello. That
Yeah.
was on the Lawrence Welk show. They did some of Louis Armstrong. Yeah,
You know,
now I
so
remember.
Louis Armstrong goes back before Lawrence Welk and all
Yes,
that.
yes.
He goes way back.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely. Now I remember.
Yeah, he was probably one of the best trumpet players that ever lived. So he left a great legacy, Louis Armstrong. And the audience can look him up on YouTube. He was called an ambassador to music. Similar to what we're going to talk about with your Special Olympics in a little bit. And he was literally an ambassador. He would go around the world doing concerts and bringing cultures
Yeah.
and nations together through his music. That was one of the fun things that Louis Armstrong did. Well,
Yeah.
Louis Armstrong is what they called him. And he was a fantastic trumpet player, so you can look him up someday. And then, of course, when he got older, he got into motion pictures as he was getting older. And he did Hello, Dolly with Barbara Streisand. You know, some of those other fun films. And he would like play his trumpet in the background on some of the movies, like the Glenn Miller story. Glenn Miller was a famous trombone player of the past, the big band era, and Louis Armstrong's on that too. So he was just fun, and he brought a lot of joy everywhere he went. Just doing his concerts, being an ambassador, and that's pretty cool. I mean, he would literally go like overseas, Europe, Africa continent,
Wonderful.
bringing these nations together through his music. So
Wonderful.
you know this song, Meesha?
Aware, aware.
Mhm.
That's my hello dog.
Well, you know what? All right. Well, Meesha, since you're the special guest, I want to focus on you. What I'm going to do is I'm going to play some chords while I'm asking you some questions, okay?
Sure.
And, got a note there. Let's do that again. There we go. That kind of sounds like something off a game show.
Mm-hmm.
You like game shows, by chance?
Yes, I
Do
do.
you have a favorite game
Wheel
show?
Fortune.
Which one?
Wheel
Oh,
Fortune.
Wheel of Fortune, yeah, let's see. They used to have, their theme song used to go something like this.
Yep.
Something like that.
Yeah.
I don't know how to play that song. So Emmett, how have you been?
I've been all right.
Good. Your finger is.
It's doing a lot better, actually. Finally, it's getting,
You're still getting the therapy on your
somewhat. I go back in March, but it's doing so well I don't have to go back until March when I see the doctor. Yeah.
But you're able to move your fingers again?
Yes, I am. This one I had surgery on. I didn't have the surgery on the others, but I had major surgery on this one for Dupuytren's. It was Dupuytren's cyst, so they had some major surgery, and it was so stiff that at Missoula, bone and joint, actually Missoula hands and motion, they did physical therapy, and I have physical therapy stuff at home. It was so stiff because the muscles contracted so much with the operations that it was just stiff as a board, so they had to get me to move my hands, and at first it felt my finger was breaking.
Really?
Yeah, it was very painful physical therapy. I was just screaming, just trying not to scream, but the muscles have loosened up with some. Oh, they had this thing that it's an ultrasound type of thing to relive some of the molecules in my fingers, just some other things that they did, and some electric shock so I could, move it. A lot of stuff they did with me is finally I'm able, thank heavens, to move it again. Thank the Lord.
I'm glad you can move your hand again. That's going to come in handy when we do that new Lawrence Welk show to have you.
Yeah.
Fingers
Oh,
again.
absolutely.
And I'm glad that cast is off your fingers. There.
Yeah, it is. I only wear it at night when I sleep.
That's good.
But yeah, sometimes I've forgotten. But yeah, I'm glad I'm able to move this. Thank the Lord. I'm just really able. I thank the Lord for that I'm able to move this again.
I'm
because
glad to hear that too. Now I'm going to change the focus here so I can focus on Meesha here. I'm going to ask you some questions, Meesha, and
Sure.
just make yourself at home and relax. And Emmett might ask you some questions too. First of all, where are you from?
I'm originally from Iowa, but I started Special Olympics in Oregon when I was, say, 12, maybe a little bit, or 11 or 12 years old.
Okay, that's when you started that.
Yeah.
Now, do you have family here in Missoula?
I know I have family in Stevensville and in Hamilton.
Okay. And you
My
have
parents
brothers
live in
and
Hamilton,
sisters?
and my sister lives in Stevensville with her husband and 2 kids.
Okay, good for you. How do you like living here in Missoula?
I like it.
I don't know if you know this song or not. Do you know this song?
No, I don't know that song.
Never heard it? It's an old folk song. It's called Santa Lucia. You may recognize this part here. You recognize it?
No.
No.
Well, anyway, are you familiar with the Andy Griffith Show?
Yes, I've watched it.
Well, the actor that plays Gomer Pyle, his name is Jim Nabors in real life, and when they first introduced his character, Gomer Pyle, on the Andy Griffith Show, they had him singing Santa Lucia,
Oh, cool.
and he had a really operatic baritone voice. That's how they introduced the character of Gomer Pyle.
Yeah.
And he would talk like, "Hi, Andy," talk all funny, but then would sing and just make it melt. That's how gifted he was a singer. He was.
Cool.
His name was Jim Nabors. So anyway, let's see. And you've been living in Missoula how many years now?
I've been living in Missoula since 2011.
Good. Now I want to know, how did you get involved in the Special Olympics?
I started at Special Olympics when I was in Oregon. I did track and field at that time. When
So
I was
you're an actual athlete,
yes, I'm an actual athlete.
and okay, and you did what was the events that you did? All of them.
I did when I ran when I was little. At that very first thing, I did 100-meter run and
Okay, 100-meter run.
yeah, and frisbee throw. But they don't have that anymore. They don't have the frisbee throw.
But they still had the running. Right?
Yeah, oh yeah, they still have the running and a lot of other events.
Yeah, because I used to do track too when I was younger.
Mm-hmm.
When I was 57 years
Mhm.
old, I used to do cross country. And it was the 440 and the 880, I believe it was, that I used to do. And I tried the hurdles, but that wasn't for me. That's about as far as my track career at that time.
Yeah.
How did you like doing track and stuff?
I liked it. It was fun.
Did you ever get any medals or any kind
Oh
of...
yeah, I have over 200 medals at home.
All track related?
Not just track, but with swimming and bowling and
And that's all connected with Special Olympics?
yes.
Right? Good for you. Because they have the Special Olympic ceremonies like the regular Olympics too, once a year. right?
Yes, we have 3 more years here in Missoula,
Uh-huh.
and the event is in May. I think it starts the 19th.
Okay, and so you won most of your awards, like ribbons and medals and things through these games.
Through the special.
Now, when you got to the point where you, I'm gonna think of a song here while I'm talking to you. Hold on, I know the perfect song. Okay, now, what did you do after you retired from competition?
I'm not retired. I'm still doing competition.
Oh, you are. You're still doing it.
I'm
Okay.
still doing it. I'm going to be
Wonderful.
doing a 400-meter walk and turbo jab
Okay.
and horseback riding.
Oh, good for you. Now, you've got a title called Global Messenger, right?
Yes,
Now,
I
can you
go
tell
out
the
and
audience what that
I
is?
can go out and speak on the behalf of Special Olympics at any organization or
Any organization that runs Special Olympics?
not just or that runs Special Olympics, but any organization like the First Interstate Bank, any jobs that are interested in helping with Special Olympics. I can go and speak on behalf of Special Olympics to them.
Well, you heard it, ladies and gentlemen. So, Meesha is a global messenger on behalf of Special Olympics, and if you need someone to do any speaking on behalf of the Special Olympic Games, this young woman here would be happy to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I want to know more about that title, though. Did you have to earn that title?
I had to go and take a class, which was a 2-day class, and then we had to get up and do a little tiny pretend interview up there in the class, and then we got our certificate and that we got proof that we're a global messenger.
So you would travel if you got the opportunity, right?
Yes, I would travel.
Well, I hope that'll happen for you. You know this song?
That's from Mr. Rogers,
Good.
a beautiful name in the neighborhood.
There you go. Beautiful day in the neighborhood.
Yep.
Yeah, it's an appropriate song because you're one of my neighbors anyway.
Yes.
Meesha lives across the street from me.
Wonderful.
And Meesha has a sister that's dealing with some health issues, and she had a bunch of Chopin books. I don't know if I told you that.
No.
Chopin books.
No, I didn't.
It was from the International Piano Library.
Mm-hmm.
It's 15 volumes.
Mm-hmm.
So I purchased a volume from Meesha, and then the money went to help her sister.
Oh, wonderful.
How's your sister doing these
She's
days?
doing okay. She has some really good days, and she has some really rough days.
Now, is your sister, is she here? She's not here.
She lives in Stevensville.
Okay. And that's where they're treating her?
No, they're not treating her. She has to usually travel to Arizona to see a specialist down there. And the money that I raise periodically throughout the year helps her to be able to go to Arizona. Even though she gets a special discount on flights and stuff, it still costs money. And the equipment that she has to use isn't covered by Medicare
I see.
or Medicaid. So what I make helps her with her medical costs, her travel costs.
So you do like, is it like extra work on the side to try to help your sister?
No, I make things.
Oh, you make it, okay.
Yeah, I do crafts and rubber band bracelets, keychains.
And you sell these items?
Yeah, I sell those items at work where I work.
Okay. And you work at where do you work at?
American Eagle Dental Tool Incorporated.
Cool. And then some of that money goes to help your sister, right?
Yes.
Okay. Well, I am wishing your sister well. I don't think I've ever met your sister, but I hope she'll be well. I
Yeah.
hope that things will work out and
Yeah.
she'll get the treatments and the help that she needs. And of course, it's nice to have a sister like you to do all these wonderful things to try to
Yeah.
raise money to help your sister like that. Now, is she an older sister? Younger?
No, younger by 5 years.
5 years? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Here's a fun song. See if you know this song. You don't know that song, huh? Do you remember an old television commercial, the Cat Chow commercial?
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Yum,
yeah.
yum.
I'll do it again. Now you might recognize it. Recognize it?
Yeah, I remember now.
Now you know. Yeah, it was like this cat that go meow meow.
Oh, yes, yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, what kind of music do you like?
I like country and Christian and
Country and Christian? Do you have a
soft rock.
Okay, do you have a favorite country singer?
I like Garth Brooks and Celine Dion.
Okay. Oh, speaking of Celine Dion, she was in concert the other night. You know, she just lost her husband, and she had a meltdown in the middle of a song.
Mm.
So she literally stopped and was crying on stage,
Yeah.
and she walked off stage, and then a few minutes later she
Mhm.
came back and she finished her concert.
Yeah.
And I think the audience understood.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Under present circumstances,
Yeah,
because the
yeah.
song she was singing was a song I think that she and her husband
Mm-hmm.
did together a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So is she your favorite singer, Celine Dion?
She's one of them.
Good. I'm sure if she were watching this show, she'd be glad to hear that. And you never know, she may see the show one day.
Yeah, yeah.
So if Celine Dion ever sees this show,
Yeah.
she's got a fan named Meesha Porter.
Yeah.
And you like some Christian?
Christian music.
All right, I'm going to play a song here and tell me if, don't you say a word, let's see if she recognizes it. We're talking, this is a more modern Christian song. Tell me if you know what it is, okay?
No, I can't recognize it right now. I remember it a little bit, but I can't remember the name of it.
Beautiful chords.
Yeah.
I'll give you a hint. Brandon Heath is his name. Still don't know it, huh?
I can't remember.
That is a song called "Give Me Your Eyes."
Oh, yeah.
It talks about seeing the world through the eyes of
Yeah,
God.
yeah.
And let's see, just name some Christian artists that you might know.
Point of Grace.
Point of Grace, yeah, they're good.
Mm-hmm.
Building 469.
Okay.
Um,
How about Mandisa? Do you like her? Do you know who she is?
mm,
She sings a song called "My Deliverer,"
oh, yeah.
and she screams these really high notes.
Yeah.
And so on. You know, time has gone by. 20 minutes have already gone by.
Wow.
I told you this show goes by real fast.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Start taping it. Let's talk more about Special Olympics
Yes.
here. trying to think of a song that I can play while we're talking. I guess I'll do Santa Lucia.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now, if you ever get a chance to do any travel or speaking, what kind of topics do you think you would be talking about on behalf of Special Olympics? Just more like an awareness of the games?
Yeah.
And probably awareness of the organization itself?
Yeah.
That's a wonderful thing. That's a wonderful thing. Have you ever done anything on a state level so far? Not city level, but state level. Have you done any either competitions or speaking or any?
We're gonna be doing our area games are in April, and then our state games are in May
Of this year?
Mm-hmm.
of this year. Yes.
And the part that you do in those games, besides competing, you do.
I just do mostly competing at that time.
Good for you.
I went to the Star Banquet last year, and I really didn't have to speak, but I had to go and have pictures taken and all that, and I might have a chance to do that again this year.
Good. I'm glad to hear it. Anything else you can tell me about Special Olympics that I may not be?
It's for people with intellectual disabilities.
Okay. Are you familiar with Johnny Erickson Tada? Have you ever heard of her?
No.
She has an organization in California named Johnny and Friends. She's like the founder of this organization. She had a swimming accident as a teenager and became a quadriplegic. And from there, she went on to create Johnny and Friends. And she does a lot of wonderful things all over the world for people with disabilities and things. But that's kind of different than Special Olympics a little bit. But what you're talking about kind of reminds me of Johnny's organization. So yeah, I think that's wonderful that you take your time not only to compete, but get behind the scenes. I think that's the right thing, or right way to word that. I don't want to embarrass you, but like I ask you, you're not married, right?
No, I'm not married.
Not married, okay.
Yep. Nor am I. And all three of us
I'm
aren't
not married. None of us are married. Okay. Let's see. Hobbies. What kind of hobbies?
I like to do crafts. I decorate wreaths, and I do beading and all sorts of stuff.
How did you get into that beading? Did you learn that in school when you were younger?
No, I just started doing it, putting beads on.
So you didn't have to take any classes?
No, I didn't take no classes.
You're self-taught, huh?
Yeah.
Well, that's a good thing, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. I'm trying to think of a song that I can play for this young woman here. I'm just having a brain dead moment here.
Same here. May I ask you a question? I don't, for those of us who don't have heard of Special Olympics, I'm all for it, but do you know the history of Special Olympics, how long it's been around in this country?
Ernest Kennedy started it right in her backyard because she had a daughter, I believe, that had it. So she wanted her daughter to be able to do something like other regular athletes, athletes would be doing.
So she started that foundation?
Yes, she did. Ernest Kennedy Shire did.
Do you know what year that was?
No, I don't remember what year that was.
That's all right. It sounds fascinating, but it sounds like you guys do a lot of good works, It's like, that's wonderful.
I have been to 2 Special Olympic World Games, one in Connecticut and one in Greece. In 1995, I went to Connecticut. 2011, I went to Greece.
Wonderful.
Oh, okay, I see. That's cool.
Are the Special Olympics every 4 years, like the other Olympics, or is it every year? Or
it's year round, but they have an international games every 4 years, and then they have
are the international games overseas for real?
The international games are just in the United States.
I see.
But the World Games are all over.
I see.
Wonderful.
I did not know that.
I think it's wonderful,
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are your future plans as far as the Special Olympics? Like if you get to give the speeches and so on, how far do you want to go on that?
As far as whatever the Special Olympics needs me to do, I'll be willing to do.
Okay.
Go and speak more and.
Now, when you speak on their behalf, do you know exactly what you might have an idea what you'll be speaking
They
about?
usually tell me what I need to speak about, and then I write a little, I sit down and type out a thing would match where I'm going.
Well, I'm glad you have your Special Olympics shirt. I don't know if it'll show on camera at this distance, but you've got your Special Olympics tag on and all the information on the shirt there.
Yeah.
Now, is there a way anybody can contact you if they want to get more information about Special Olympic Games?
I really don't want to get that over.
Okay,
Yeah,
well,
yeah.
that's fine, but maybe
They can
just
go.
contact you
They can
through-
call the YMCA
Okay, that's
and
fine.
talk to Marie, Kelly, or Melissa. They're at the office, and they can get a hold of me that way.
All right, that's a fun way too, and you know, you never know. By the time this program airs, you don't know who will be watching it
Yeah.
as far as connected with Special Olympics. And speaking of Special Olympics, I got to play for them once.
Oh, wonderful.
About 30 years ago.
Oh, wonderful.
They had a Jeffrey Foundation in California,
Mm-hmm.
and it was like a big foundation. They had sleeping facilities there and stuff like that. And they invited me there for 3 days. So I actually stayed overnight at the foundation for 3 days. This was the Jeffrey Foundation at that time. All kinds of children with different, disabilities and needs and things. And it was fun playing hide and seek and doing music for these children and stuff like that. And they had a movie star there. I don't know if you've ever heard of her. Her name was Connie Stevens.
No,
The
no.
famous for blonde hair. Kind of like Farrah Fawcett on
Yeah,
Charlie's
yeah.
Angels, and she was
Uh-huh.
famous for blonde hair. And Connie Stevens made an appearance at this foundation on behalf of these children.
Mm-hmm.
And that was just such a cool thing. So I got to play for her too.
Oh, wonderful.
But it was more fun playing for these children.
Mhm,
I mean, kids love, musical things.
Oh, yeah,
and
yeah.
stuff like
Oh,
that.
yeah.
So it was fun. And then we took the kids to Universal Studios tour that they used to have in California. And the show Battlestar Galactica was popular at that time. I don't know
Yep.
if you ever saw it.
I loved it. I have
You
every
remember
episode
the
almost.
Cylons
Yeah.
where they had a little,
Oh, yeah,
little
yeah.
red
Yep.
dot go across their eye like
Yeah,
that?
I loved it. Yeah.
Well, some of the kids, we had taken them to Universal Studios tour. Some of the little kids got really frightened
Oh, yeah.
because they couldn't make the connection that it was make believe.
Exactly. Yeah.
So we had to comfort these little children,
Mm-hmm.
reassured of that
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
Cylon monster is not going to eat them for dinner.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just loved that show as a kid.
But I don't know if you've ever been to Universal Studios.
Oh, yes, I
tours.
have.
You have?
Yes.
Yeah, that's a pretty cool place to go.
Uh-huh.
I was not only there when they did Battlestar Galactica, but I was there when the $6 Million Man with Lee Majors was popular,
Mm-hmm.
and I got to lift this car like I was Steve Austin. And what it was it had a car body, but the inside was empty. And then they had this floor that they had a little gadget that made the car go up. See, now when you lift it up, it's a floorboard, but when you look at it on camera, it looks like you're really lifting the car.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't show the floorboard. And another thing I saw when I went on the Universal Studios tour, do you remember the movie The Ten Commandments with Charlton Heston? Did you ever see that?
I don't know if I've seen that one.
It's about the story of Moses.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, they had this scene where the Red Sea parted. Are you familiar with that story?
Uh-huh.
Old Testament, the children of Israel were trapped and Pharaoh's army was about to get them. And so the Lord splits the waters and they walk through. Well, I saw that in a sense in real life, how they did that. And we were on this like little roller coaster, kind of a train that went like about 3 or 4 miles an hour. And we came up to this body of water, and then the water would part. It had like these little suction things underneath that caused the water. And then what they did on the scene, they placed a camera on the ground. See? So when the water split, from the camera's point of view, it looks like it's this big, towering sea. So it's just all the magic of special effects and so on.
I went there when they were filming the Dr. Seuss, How the Grinch Stole Christmas.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah, that's when I went down there. I didn't get to see the stuff, but that's when we were there because I heard that they were filming. But that's all we.
You recognize? I'll do another verse.
Nope.
That's from Grinch.
Grinch Stole Christmas.
I think I only saw it one time in my life when I was a little kid, just once.
You don't recognize that?
Nope.
Meesha, I'm glad I can do this song for you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Did you see the movie?
Yes, I did.
What did you think of that?
I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah, I liked it.
Mm-hmm.
It was just like watching the cartoon.
Mhm.
Did you ever see it?
The cartoon, yeah, well,
No,
when
no.
I was a little kid.
The actual-
The movie, no, I never did, no.
Well, basically, it was just like watching the cartoon, but they just had
Yeah.
people on it.
Yeah, yeah.
Jim Carrey played the Grinch.
Oh, yeah. I can imagine him doing that, yeah.
And it was cool because, the Grinch carved the
Uh-huh.
roast beast, they called it.
Mm-hmm.
And the Grinch. And he pulls out this big switchblade out in a movie.
Hilarious.
And carves the roast beast.
Hilarious.
They called it in the movie. It was just so funny.
Yeah.
It was such a funny
Mm-hmm.
film. And, it's cool when they make some of these family
Mm-hmm.
films. I mean, I know they might have a few little
Mm-hmm.
off-color jokes. But
Yeah.
other than that, it's a nice family.
Yeah.
movie.
Yeah.
The Grinch was one of them, and I talked about this recently. Tooth Fairy. Did you see
Mhm.
Tooth
Yeah.
Fairy?
Oh, yeah. I've seen Tooth Fairy, yeah.
That was such a funny film to me. The Rock, Dwayne Johnson, the big athlete, ex-professional wrestler.
Oh, vaguely. I never
He's
watched
like-
professional wrestling.
He's like huge. Yeah, but he's like big guy.
Uh-huh.
And he's like an action movie star.
Mhm.
And, basically, he's in this Tooth Fairy, and at the beginning of the movie, he crushes the dreams of children.
Hmm.
He's telling these kids there's no such thing as a Tooth Fairy.
Oh, yeah.
Uh-huh. And then he
And,
ends up being a Tooth Fairy.
And
It's
he's
funny.
He's calling himself the Tooth Fairy because in the beginning of the film, he's a sports guy. He plays professional hockey.
Yeah.
And so when he runs into a hockey player, he knocks out a tooth.
Yeah.
So they called him the Tooth Fairy, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the Tooth Fairies in Tooth Fairyland were not happy about that. He was taking their image
Mm-hmm.
and making the Tooth Fairies look bad.
So
And
they
then
made
they
him
weren't
into a Tooth Fairy.
Yeah, so they weren't happy about that, and then they weren't happy with him crushing the dreams of kids. So
Yeah.
the leader of the Tooth Fairyland, who's Julie Andrews, sends him a summons.
Mm-hmm.
So they take him to Tooth Fairyland,
Mm-hmm.
and as punishment, he has to work as a Tooth Fairy for
Oh.
1 week. But under special circumstances, they gave him 2 weeks.
Yep.
Yep.
and that's when the adventure starts.
Interesting.
So they called him the Dream Killer. So
Mhm.
they had to teach him how to be a Tooth Fairy.
Interesting.
And he didn't want to cooperate at first.
Oh, yeah.
No.
And so Julie Andrews' character says, if you don't cooperate and be a Tooth Fairy, we'll keep tacking on an extra week until you
Mhm.
comply.
Yeah.
So finally he decides to start complying, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
And they had some scenes in there, like when they were teaching him how to be a Tooth Fairy.
Mhm.
They had to teach him how to
The
fly.
tennis balls.
So
The
yeah,
tennis balls.
and it was funny because Dwayne Johnson's character is in the minor leagues in hockey, and he had a little shoulder injury.
Mm-hmm.
So he's telling the two fairies that he didn't want to fly because he thought he'd have a wing injury.
Mm-hmm.
And so they just pull this lever and he goes flying up in the air
Uh-huh.
like this,
And
float like
tennis
this. And
balls
he still
hitting
wouldn't
him.
cooperate. So they took
Yeah.
these tennis balls and were throwing it at him to get him to start moving out of the way to teach him to fly. It was so funny. And then they gave him a bag of stuff, like they gave him this
Mhm.
stuff called Cataway.
Mm-hmm.
So that, because he could
And
shrink
dust.
himself. He could shrink himself, see?
Mhm.
And so he would need that because the cat would be big while he
Mhm.
shrunk. And his mission was to go into the child's bedroom, take the 2,000 pillow, and put money in there.
Mm-hmm.
And the Tooth Fairies are watching, so
Oh, yeah.
to make sure you cooperate. And finally, the movie started really getting funny when he decided to cooperate. When he decided to take the job serious.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then they had this stuff called fairy dust,
Mhm.
where once you sprinkle on a person, they forget what happens.
Mm-hmm.
So it was just so funny.
Yeah.
Just the whole, you should. I would highly recommend you see.
Interesting.
This movie.
Interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, and it was funny to see this big athlete
Mm-hmm.
in real life. I mean, this guy's like chiseled. He's got
Mhm.
muscles everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And so to see this athlete in this tutu with fairy wings, I think he was a good sport
Uh-huh.
in real life to play
Mhm.
that character. And that's what I mean about family.
Yeah.
I know that some movies
Mm-hmm.
have to be realistic, like say Law and Order.
Oh yeah, exactly.
But it's fun to have a movie where there's not all this vulgarity
Exactly.
and just fun.
Exactly.
Like Dr. Dolittle. With,
Yeah.
I thought that was very fun.
Never
Did you
saw
see
it.
that?
Never saw
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, Dr. Dolittle could talk to the animals.
Oh yeah, yes,
yeah.
yes, of course, yes.
So Eddie Murphy plays Dr. Dolittle, and that was
Mhm.
kind of a cute film.
Yeah.
But this Tooth Fairy, I just really, really like that one.
Mm-hmm.
And at the end of the movie, Dwayne Johnson's character realizes that dreams could be true.
Yeah.
He teaches his girlfriend's daughter to believe and
Wonderful.
stuff. So the Tooth Fairy send him back to Earth.
Wonderful. Wait, Dr. Doolittle, didn't Lawrence Welk do an orchestra version of Talk to the Animals?
Yeah,
Now I remember here.
it's
Dr.
something like
Doolittle,
this.
talk. Da da dun da 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 dun. I love that. And even on the Lawrence Welk show, they had some of their orchestra dressed up as animals, even
Yeah.
Myron Florence. I love that. I have it on tape somewhere.
Well,
I
they
love
have
that.
a new version with Eddie Murphy playing Dr.
Oh, okay. Do they still have that song? Da da dun da da da
It's
da.
in there.
Oh, wonderful.
And they use the music of Louis Armstrong in the film.
Mm-hmm. Wonderful. Wonderful.
Eddie Murphy's not known for clean language. But
No.
He had to be clean in this one to play
Yes.
Dr. Dolittle.
Just
And
like
he did a
yes.
good job.
Yeah.
Just like Jim Carrey.
Yeah.
They if you're going to play these family
Yes.
characters, you have to be in
You do.
keeping with that.
You do.
So Eddie Murphy did a good job.
Just like Daddy Daycare, one of my favorite
That
movies.
was a good
Oh,
one,
I
too.
love
Oh,
Daddy
yeah.
Daycare. I just love it. I have it on tape. It's adorable and sweet and adorable.
Yeah.
That was
I
funny
wish
as
they'd
heck.
make more movies like that.
Exactly. Yeah, I have that on tape. I loved Daddy Daycare. Sweetest movie in the world. Yeah, just loved it.
You know this song, Meesha?
No, I don't remember that one.
I'll do it again.
Fascinating.
You don't know it? It's the theme of Star Trek.
Oh.
Yeah. I love Star Trek, you know. Yeah, I love Star Trek.
I'll do it again. You might
Isn't that
recognize
fascinating?
it. Now I'll do it again. You might recognize it now.
I'm even starting to get into the next generation, like I said. I didn't like it when I was younger, but it's kind of aged over time. They do a lot of marathons on BBC America of that show. With Picard, and you just...
You recognize it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the theme of
Beautiful,
Star Trek, my
yeah.
version of it anyway.
Yeah.
Well, God has blessed me, so
Yes, yes.
like I tell people, I will be happy to play the piano for people as long as my physical health
Yes.
holds out.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you know this. You know how I became a pianist?
Uh-uh.
Well, I don't know if you know my autobiography got published recently, and it's just a fun story.
Mm-hmm.
But when I was a little boy, my father was stationed overseas in Taipei, Taiwan, because he was in the military, did a career. We just got back to the United States when I was in the fourth grade, starting about the fifth grade, and he was stationed at Langley Air Force Base in Hampton, Virginia. And my father used to have a habit of drinking gin. And then when he would drink gin, he'd leave the house and come home with something brand new, like a toaster, towels, blankets, curtains, whatever, just stuff.
Yeah.
Like he would drink like in the mid-morning, right? And then he'd just come home with something brand new
Mm-hmm.
all the time. So one day he was feeling really good, as the old saying goes, and he came home with a brand new piano. That is a true story.
Mm-hmm.
My father was drinking gin and
Mm-hmm.
left the house and came home with a brand new piano when I was in the fourth grade. And that's how this whole thing started.
Mm-hmm.
This is such a funny story.
Yeah.
And my mom had a fit. She started crying, when they brought this brand new piano in our home. And my mom was crying because she's like, nobody knows how to play the piano. What are we going to do with this piano? And my mom was too poor to have it taken back. So she had to live with the fact that we had a piano. And I started messing around with it. You know how kids
Oh,
do.
yeah, yes.
But then when my father got transferred from Virginia to California, then I took music lessons.
Mhm.
The rest is history. And since the piano was brand new, they're not gonna just get rid of the piano. They're gonna take it.
Yeah,
with them.
yeah.
So that's how this whole thing started.
Cool.
It's an unusual story.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But when I was a kid, I used to practice an awful lot.
Mhm.
Practice.
Uh-huh.
Practice. And I think I drove my mom crazy because she used to kick me out of the house. Boy, go outside and play for a while.
Mhm.
So she'd throw me out. She'd kick me out of the house. I'd go play baseball with friends for a while and I'd come back and practice. That's all I did. I just spent so many hours practicing
Mhm.
when I was growing up.
Mhm.
Because I always knew I wanted to be a musician ever since I was a little boy.
Mhm.
And I got to fulfill that dream
Yeah.
in my life. So it's fun.
Mhm.
And now I'm doing this cafe here, which is fun and
Mhm.
stuff. And I've met some wonderful people here in Missoula
Mhm.
since moving here.
Yeah.
I don't do concerts as much as I used to now because I live in Missoula.
Yeah.
But when I was in Vegas and Hollywood, I did a lot of performances.
Wow.
A whole lot. So, but I'm getting older now, and I also played for the Salvation Army for 12 years. I don't know if you knew that or not.
That's cool.
I did. I used to do my music and raise money for homeless people,
Mhm.
and people in need during the Christmas holiday season. I did that for 12 years, and I got nominated for the California Jefferson Award for Community Service.
No, good.
Yeah, I did.
Mhm.
And it was interesting because I got this letter from ABC would have an email and say, Asaph, you've been nominated for this award. I got nominated in my 5th year of playing for the Salvation Army.
Mhm.
So that was pretty cool. Of course, this lady from the Red Cross won that. We can't beat the Red Cross. I mean,
Yeah.
they do a lot of wonderful things too. Okay, let's see. Let's pick this song. See if Meesha knows this song here. You ever heard that song? That's from a movie called The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly with Clint Eastwood. It's the theme song.
Mhm.
Yeah, they made a lot of interesting films
Mhm.
in those 60s and 70s, I would say.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen any cowboy television shows?
Yeah, I've seen cowboy shows before.
Yeah, when I was a little boy, they had a bunch of them. I'll name some, see if you know them. Like, they had the Rifleman.
Uh-huh.
They had Gunsmoke.
Mhm.
They had Bonanza. The Virginian.
Mhm.
Have you ever heard of the Virginian? It went like this. Oh, I'm sorry, we good at it.
Gunsmoke. Even Lorne Greene played in that from Battlestar Galactica, if I remember
Yeah,
correctly.
well, that was before Battlestar Galactica.
Yeah, I know that. I know that before.
Yeah,
Yes.
he was in Bonanza. And it went something like this.
Mhm.
Oh, Ranger.
Mhm.
Well, that's the thing, Bonanza too. Kind
Mhm.
of close, I'll do it again.
Hi-ho Silver.
Mhm.
So anyway, yeah, that's right. Io Silver. Well, speaking of that, the actor, his name was Clayton Moore, that played the Lone Ranger in the 1930s and 40s. I think it was the radio version first before the black and white television
Mhm.
version came out. Io Silver.
Oh yeah, they had a
That
lot
was
of
pretty
radio
cool.
programs back then. The Shadow and some others. That's what
Yeah,
people listened to
well,
back then.
My mom, my birth mom, I have 2 moms. I don't know if you knew that, Meesha. So I'm talking about my birth mother.
Mhm.
And, when she was a little girl, they didn't have television then.
Right,
They
right.
had these old radio broadcasts, and they used to do these shows like The Shadow Knows,
Mhm. Oh yes.
The Green Hornet,
Mhm.
and, oh gosh, Fibber McGee and Molly was another show from radio broadcast. And, of course, the Lone Ranger.
Mhm.
So the people used to sit in front of their radios, just like how we sit in front of our television.
Mhm.
And they would listen to these old broadcasts and have their imagination and so on.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That was the fun thing about it. You use your imagination when you're hearing the
Yeah,
story,
yeah.
kind of thing. So, anyway, do you have a favorite Western? Any favorite Westerns?
Nah.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's probably before your time anyway, so you would probably do more of the current stuff.
Yeah.
No, that's nothing wrong with that. That's good. You have to have shows that fit your time.
Mhm.
You know, you can't have her talking about something 30, 40 years before she was born. That won't
Yeah.
work.
I
Let's see
li-
if you know this.
Mhm.
See if you know this.
The woodpecker.
Yep. Mhm. Never cared for that cartoon too much. Yeah.
There you go. But yeah, that's my version.
Yeah.
You didn't like Woody Woodpecker?
No, I never cared for
I
it.
liked
Yeah.
woodpecker.
Everybody likes Woody Woodpecker.
I saw a
Except for
real
Emmett.
woodpecker on my way to church yesterday, actually pecking on a telephone pole. Yeah, it was
That's
pretty cool.
what they do.
That's what they do. It's a real woodpecker.
Yeah,
Yep.
they just tend to be picking at stuff.
Yep, yep.
And you know, we're down to our last 5 minutes. The whole I
Fascinating,
extended this to
yep.
about an
Wow.
hour. See how
Mhm.
fast this went? Now, do you have any last minute questions you want to ask her about Special Olympics?
I'm afraid not. It's just, I'm glad you're in it. I think that's very fascinating, you know, so.
Yeah, I think that's wonderful what you're doing. And
Mhm.
again, I hope you get the opportunity to do some speaking in the
Yeah.
future
Mhm.
on behalf
I-
of Special Olympics.
Yeah.
When, the proper people see this show, maybe that might open a door
Mhm.
for
Yeah.
them and stuff. And you can probably use this show as a nice resume that you said you're on Asaph Cafe talking about your work with Special
Mhm.
Olympics. And
Yeah.
you've been doing that for a lot of years, right?
Yeah, I've been in Special Olympics for over 30 years.
Mhm.
Years.
But this last year, I became a global messenger.
Mhm.
Okay, good for you. I'm so proud of you. I just think that
Mhm.
such an admirable thing. I think
Yep.
it's a wonderful thing to do. If you have a talent or something and you get a chance to
Yeah.
spend your life helping others, that's a wonderful
Oh,
thing.
yeah, yeah.
At least I think it is.
Mm-hmm.
And I hope the good Lord will bless you,
Mhm.
lady, for your efforts. And maybe this will be a channel that will
Yeah.
happen for you.
Mm-hmm.
Our hour is up, and
Yeah.
you're welcome.
Yeah.
We're going to take a break, and when we do show number 2, you're welcome to be part of that if you'd like to.
Okay.
But
Mhm.
I'll let you make that decision. But let me make some final acknowledgments. I know I didn't do much playing today, but I wanted to get to know
Oh,
more
absolutely, absolutely. I think I did a lot
about our
of playing. I thought it was great. I thought it was great.
Yeah, and I wanted to make Meesha feel
That's
at home
wonderful.
and
Yep.
feel comfortable.
Wonderful.
We had fun on Asaph Cafe.
I sure did.
Wonderful.
Yeah. So, and Emmett, I'll shake your hand later. Let
Yeah.
me make some final acknowledgments here. I am your host, Asaph Adonai, and we're on our Dawn set again. This is Asaph Cafe, and the premise of this show, I just play the
Mhm.
piano while I talk to a
Mm-hmm.
guest. It's impromptu, no script, as you can see.
Uh-huh.
No makeup, none of that, just
Yep.
impromptu show. And we've talked about a lot of things on this show. I mean, we have talked about things like Wonder Woman.
Easy
I don't-
listening,
yeah,
tons of easy listening.
music.
Yeah, my favorite, one of my favorite.
We talked about mail order brides one time.
Yeah.
That was kind of fun. And it was funny. I mean, I wasn't expecting that to happen, but yeah, we talked about that. And we've had Valerie's been on this show, and we had a 6-year-old playing the piano.
Mhm.
Remember?
Yeah,
Miss Curtis, her little granddaughter.
Yeah, I wasn't on that particular show, but I heard about it, yeah.
Yeah, and then I was looking at some of the older cafe shows that time when you played.
Yes,
And it's just a fun little
it is, yeah.
community show that I put together. And, we'll probably never get an Oscar or anything, but
No,
that's fine.
yeah.
It's just fun.
Yeah, it
And,
is, yeah.
I invite people from all walks of life, the community and so
Mhm.
on, to appear. But in your case, I really want to talk more about Special Olympics, and we'll probably talk about that more if you appear on the second show, but that's a worthy organization.
It is, yeah.
And yours is Special Olympics of Montana, right?
Yes.
That's what I thought. So you're the global messenger for Special Olympics of Montana.
Yes.
That's a wonderful
Mhm.
thing. So hopefully all the right people will see this
Mm-hmm.
appearance of
Yeah.
yours. And I really hope you had fun because it was fun.
I had a
having
good
you
time.
on.
Thank
Yep,
you.
yep.
Yeah, and Emmett, it was always fun to have you on. Let
Thanks.
me make these acknowledgments here. We have our special guest, Meesha Porter, connected with the Special Olympics of Montana. She's lent her talents, not only as far as competing, but working as a global messenger. And I think this young woman will be very good at it. Of course, we have our
Mhm.
aging rocker, Emmett. So. Any final words you want to say, Emmett?
Nope, I can't think of any right now.
any
Just
final-
thank you, O Lord, for another show.
Yeah, any final words, Meesha, you want to say before we...
What?
Any final words before we go?
No.
Well, just thank you for being part of our show. So until our next show, ladies and gentlemen, Maranatha. And that's how I end every show with the right there,
Cool.
that freeze right on that chord. Well, just relax, make yourself at home. We'll get this together, take a break, and get ready for number 2.
All right.